We are right on target for Q3, and I'm sorry, can I call you back? Mom, I'm working.
That's what you wear to work? I want you to meet someone. This is a doctor, and he's single. She's much prettier with makeup.
I'm wearing makeup.
I am done casually dating on the holidays. There's way too much pressure. It's ridiculous.
Try being the only single person left in your family.
Rodney said you didn't call him.
You didn't call Rodney?
Why didn't you call Rodney?
Why didn't you call Rodney?
Because I already have a boyfriend.
Isn't he great? He's my Holidate.
What?
I date solely for the holiday. No commitment.
That's what I need for New Year's Eve. We can be each other's holiday.
Come on, friends with benefits never works.
So let's make it official. Non-sexual holidays from now on.
This is great.
We avoid this stupid pressure and all the judgment.
Happy Easter, my little bunnies.
I want you to find someone who has real potential. Not this holiday crap like your aunt.
She seems like she's having fun.
She's gonna die alone in a wheelchair and a diaper.
Do we have the finger?
Holiday rule number 3, leave no holiday behind.
No hands touched. Use protection?
You like him. He likes you. These are not real problems. I can't just like him until I know for sure that he likes me.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Maybe this holiday thing will turn into something.
Why is everyone so suspicious of a happy single woman? You look really sad.
Human beings aren't meant to be alone on the holidays.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Nobody drops baby on her head.
Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and other podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie, and find us on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Delvecchio. With me, as always, is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey, friends.
Hello. So for those of you who've been following the podcast, I'm going through my first year in my first apartment in a long time, and I just realized the one thing about the location that I'm at is in the winter when it gets really dark, it's basically pitch black in my apartment when I get home at night, and I'm starting to get worried that I should get my cat a nightlight. I think I'm turning into one of those people.
Mark's becoming a cat lady.
I literally had that thought like 2 days ago. I was like, oh, I wonder if she hates it in the dark.
Well, cats are like, their eyes are specifically made for hunting at night, so she's probably fine.
True.
It goes from this line of thought to you leaving on YouTube Cat for Cats.
Just so she feels like she's not alone.
Yeah. My parents leave on television all day if they're out, because the cats keep the cats company.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'd have a heart attack. The energy bill. Yeah,
I wouldn't do that, but I have considered getting a second cat to keep her company. Get her own cat.
Yeah, there it is. He's going to become a crazy cat lady.
But it's time to talk about podcasting, because we took a week off and we can't slip, guys. We can't get comfortable.
No.
But it is now December when you guys are listening to this. So it's 25 Days of Christmas. And we picked a movie that's not even a Christmas movie. It's sort of.
Yeah, I feel really bad about this. I kept
be,
thinking, when's Christmas going to start?
to be honest and get into a very hot take area, I think Christmas is mentioned as much in this movie as it is in Die Hard.
No, Die Hard is far more of a Christmas movie than this is.
No, I said mentioned, not...
let's not you, Mark. Let's not even go there. That's an entire other podcast that we could have. But we did watch a movie that is sort of Christmas. But you know what, Dan? It's not really your fault because this is basically came out around Christmas, and it's marketed as a Christmas movie. So why don't you tell us which Christmas movie, quote unquote, we watched this week?
So, as Anthony mentioned, it was a sort of Christmas movie. I was fooled by Esquire, I believe, an online article, because I quickly did some research. What's a good Christmas movie for me to watch that's on streaming? And it pointed me towards this Netflix movie called Holidate with Emma Roberts and Australian guy, dollar store Liam Hemsworth. No idea what I didn't even bother to learn his name. It's just Australian guy. Yeah, and it started off promising. The first scene is a Christmas movie. There's humiliating families. One woman talks about coming in their mouth or something like that. So that really snapped me out of my funk. I was kind of like leaning in, just like, okay, another Hallmark kind of Christmas movie. And then this woman just blurts out, "Oh, you let me, I let you come in my mouth." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go. Now we're
absolute
now I'm all in."
whiplash.
100%. I was not expecting this movie to be how it was. Again, I thought it was going to be, a Hallmark kind of movie with Emma Roberts, and down on her luck, meeting the guy of her dreams, which it has those building blocks, but it's not nearly as charming as a Hallmark movie, or like it's not in on the joke, right? Like the Hallmark movies are, where they know it's kind of silly and they kind of play up the silliness and the corniness. This movie was, it wasn't. It's bookmarked or bookended by Christmas, the holiday, but to call it a Christmas movie would be very, very generous, I'd say.
Sure. All right, Mark, where are you coming from with Holidate?
Well, what I liked about this movie at the beginning was that I got to the same point Dan did when I realized, like, oh, okay, this is, they're going to push it a little raunchy to kind of maybe separate it from that Hallmark, movie, sort of trope, I guess is the best terminology to use for it. But yeah, the one thing I realized as I went along in this movie, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I feel like I get the same vibes of wanting to watch everything that Emma Roberts is in as I do her father. Like, I just gotta watch it. Like, okay.
I feel like I'd rather watch an Eric Roberts movie, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Even after Sleepwalker's Nightmare.
I would rather watch from beginning to end all of the Stalked by My Doctor series than watch something with Emma Roberts in it.
Damn.
Okay.
I do not find her appealing. I don't. I think the apple fell very far from the tree.
Wow. Hot take.
Very
coming
hot
in.
take.
Damn.
And that original apple fell even further from a tree. Obviously I'm on the opposite end. I was like, all right. I was like, the only reason I'm continuing to watch this movie outside of doing it for the podcast is I did like the Emma Roberts character for the most part until probably the end. But I think you're supposed to hate her in the last, 30 minutes of the movie. But yeah, outside of this, it's just, there's a lot of, generic rom-com stuff here. There was a lot of things they did different that I liked, in terms of taking, storylines, away from the trope, but then they did the stupid thing where every character they introduce has to have some kind of connection to the end or some connection to the story overall. That I wish they didn't do. Like, there was no reason for the aunt and the doctor neighbor to end up together. At the end, made literally no sense for either character. And then just having the random Wonder Years dad come at the very end of the movie and then end up being apparently part of the family now. But yeah, just the concept their relationship and how they were dealing with it, and just the, I was like, all right, I see what they're trying to do here, and I think it works a little bit, but yeah, I think it just was all building to that final speech, and I think they waited too long to get to that moment in terms of it seemed rushed from the time they started getting feelings to when that speech occurs.
Wasn't earned.
Yeah, I think they needed more of a gap between, the end of, I assume if we're doing 3-act structure, I guess the end of Act 2 sort of thing, where they had that fight in the grocery store, to that ending. Yeah, just a little bit more of a gap there. Not necessarily more time in the movie, just a little bit more space there. I did get a good chuckle, and it might be the only one, but I did like the choir singing his name when she was screaming for him. I thought that was a pretty cool, because they're always going to do something cheesy there, and some things are drawn out and used all over again. But I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. They're not stopping her from screaming her name. They help.
I'll tell you what, Mark. What I did find out about this movie, I learned something from this movie.
Yes,
I learned the actual lyrics to "Deck the Halls."
Oh, nice.
Because I always thought I was today years old when I found out the lyric is not "Toll the Ancient Yuletide Carol," it's "Troll the Ancient Yuletide Carol."
Yeah.
Because I was watching it with Jen, and we had the subtitles on, and like, oh, "Troll the Ancient Yuletide Carol." I was like, oh, these fucking idiots. They got it wrong. And then I was like, I looked it up. Like, oh, wait a minute. I'm the fucking idiot. Been singing this for 35 years, pretty much.
These guys that had the script in front of them to put the subtitles up, they got it wrong.
Hey, listen, it wouldn't be the first time someone got, spelled something wrong, but like, oh, what a bunch. I out loud said, oh, what a bunch of fucking idiots.
You got halfway through a tweet about it until you realized. It was like, oh, putting that one in the drafts.
I wrote it in my notes. I wrote it. Oh, they got the lyrics wrong to "Deck the Halls." It should be "Toll the Ancient Yuletide Carol." And then I'm like, wait a minute. Let me just Google search this. It costs nothing to Google search.
Oh, man. But yeah, that was basically my main takeaway. It's a very throwaway, romantic comedy, sort of with a neat idea, that I don't think they do well, because it just seems like the concept they do is just like, let's throw them at a bunch of different, themed parties together, and not really developing that story. And then they go to way too many holidays, which is part of the reason why they have to rush the ending, in my opinion. But yeah, it's fine. If you're going to watch, just need to watch movies on Netflix for Christmas, there are plenty of worse ones on there, which one we may or may not cover later this month. We do not know, but yeah, this is fine and harmless.
Okay. As for me, I'd actually seen this movie before, and I was going to tell you, Dan, like, it takes place sort of at Christmas, but not quite all the time at Christmas. But I figured this was good enough to cover.
You let me make a fool of myself.
Twice.
Yep. Give you the rope and let you hang yourself.
Classic Anthony.
But as for me, I didn't hate this movie. There are other movies that we have watched at Christmas time that I've disliked more. I think this is much better than Four Christmases. Speaking of, I loathe that movie because I think it is very mean-spirited, and this movie isn't quite as mean-spirited as it. You know what I also found out today? That Kristen Chenoweth is in 6 Christmas movies.
Oh my goodness.
She loves Christmas. That she must be an elf because she's like 4'6".
The Queen of Christmas.
She's gonna try and trademark it, and they're gonna accept it.
Yeah. Well, what else? What other choice do they have, really?
Yeah, it's either this or Mariah Carey. Well, let's go with the little one. But I did not hate this movie. It is, I wouldn't say charming, but it is fine. I don't understand the game of the Holidate for these two, though. Like,
Sure.
like when I first saw this movie and get the concept of it, I thought they were going to be like pretending to be a couple just so they could not have to deal with those questions of like, oh, are you seeing anybody? It's like, so these two are doing like this pretending to be a couple so they can get through the holidays that so they don't have to see them. The mom's not going to ask them all the questions every time. But they just wind up in a platonic friendship through most of it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Just call it that. And I don't know. I think a lot of this movie, I'm just going, well, why aren't they fucking?
Right. Yeah, there's no reason for them not to be.
Yeah, that's the one thing. It's just like a lot of times with these movies, when there's a conceit that these two people aren't getting together, it's always hard for me to believe it. A lot of the times, it's like, well, you're two attractive people that are spending a lot of time together. Why is it taking you almost an entire year to fuck? Although maybe they fucked during Cinco de Mayo. We don't know for sure.
Yeah,
Do you think they fucked on Cinco de Mayo?
No.
No, I don't think so. But I think that's the point where you could have had it happen. And that gives the, spread out timetable that I need for that last speech to mean anything.
It takes far too long for them to get to it. It ruins the story. I think if you have them have sex midway through the second act, then you have that downfall situation, right, where both of them are kind of on the, they're upset, and now you build back up to Christmas, right? Everything kind of leads back to Christmas instead of it being on Halloween, right? I think that's when or the day after Halloween, after she shits her pants. Which, by the way, hilarious, but that should not be your romantic moment.
That's their meet cute.
Well, yeah, because it's so like she shits her pants. It makes me laugh even thinking about it now. So she has her accident, and then she's being washed down. It's so humiliating.
Hosed down.
It's so humiliating.
And then he fucks her. He's like, yep, I've washed you like an elephant in the zoo to clean off the shit that you made all over yourself. But I'm still going to fuck you in the morning.
Yeah, I think he's probably thought, well, it can't get any lower than that.
Yeah, so. and her the whole thought is, oh no, I have morning breath.
Right, now that I have soiled myself.
This guy helped me clean up the diarrhea all over my one bathroom.
Well, I guess because she knows the other end does not smell now, right? Her mouth smells, but her downtown clean as a whistle.
Yeah, she was popping laxatives. She was spending all night on that toilet.
That's a good point. Yeah. I was so happy that we didn't like pan down to see the water being anything other than clear.
Yeah.
I would have turned the movie off. Like, okay, enough of this.
I mean, this movie did try and be vulgar sometimes, which was, as we said, like super shocking.
Yeah. Very shocking. Again, I go to the very first scene with the Australian guy and whoever he's dating at the time, and I told my wife what she said, and she did a double take. Like, what? Really? They said that on a Netflix Christmas movie? Yeah. I think that's what annoys me the most is I was promised a Christmas movie and it wasn't. So maybe that's why they were being vulgar, because it's not really a Christmas movie.
Right. And that's a vulgar line for like any movie.
Anything. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they don't say that in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Trying to think of the context in which that would come up in Goodfellas.
Oh, well, Tommy would probably ask Karen. What was what's his name? Ray Liotta's character.
Oh, damn. Why did I blank it? Henry.
Yeah, Tommy would have asked Henry if he came in Karen's mouth or something like that.
I meant in the context of one of the women saying it.
Well, yeah. Probably, yeah. You probably wouldn't get that, like Karen telling any of the Italian housewives over Sunday sauce.
Lorraine Bracco. and he comes in my mouth without asking. Cancer? What cancer?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, it's at the birthday party, right?
Yeah.
I do have to
Perfect
say, shout out to our babysitter and Babysitter 2 friend in this movie.
Oh, Andrew Bachelor.
Yeah.
Yep. He's got that Netflix money.
Yeah. Oh,
Who's
yeah.
this?
Neil, the Black Panther.
Oh, okay. The very underdeveloped character.
Yes.
Who apparently was fine with being a homewrecker?
Hey, listen, that's on her.
Yeah. He's
You know,
like, you keep your side of the street clean.
Yeah, it takes two to tango, Mark.
No. The scene they had where he was like, she's like, it's a mom of 4 kids. What does she want? Like he kept pushing it.
No, he initiates, but it's on her to say, I'm married with
Oh no,
4
yeah,
kids.
the whole Halloween party. Yes, that's all her fault. I'm talking about their scene after it.
Yeah.
When they're talking at the golf club is when
okay.
it totally flips. Because at that point he could have went, oh, I didn't know she was,
Yeah.
But he kept pushing it. And I'm like, he seems like he's okay with
Oh yeah. He says I felt like we had a connection.
Yeah.
I was so sure that he was going to wind up with the mother at the end, the wife of the mother of 4.
No, they just had to have the dad from Wonder Years show up randomly and just
he winds up with the come in the mouth girl,
which is, I guess,
and
perfect.
the nurse? Question mark.
I think it's the woman's mother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was confused at who the other girl was.
Even that, like, what was the point of that? Just to say, oh, this is how he ended up. Yeah. Remember this woman from the beginning?
It was the thing I said earlier is that it does the dumb rom-com thing where everybody introduced in the movie has to have some kind of,
finale.
Yeah. Like even the boyfriend and the young girlfriend have a finale.
Yeah.
To their story. Like nobody is left, like the juice box boyfriend of the little girl gets an ending to his story.
Mm-hmm.
And no one suffers any consequences in this movie.
Although, can we talk about the bleakness that is the sister's relationship with her husband?
Yeah,
that is
go for it.
That's completely glossed over, but it comes to a head at the end. As their serious marital problems.
Yeah,
but that's it. There's nothing after that. Everything's okay.
It is brought up and then never mentioned again. But the sister is actively avoiding her children and her responsibilities as a mother. Her husband is completely ignoring her and the benefit of being a father and for the children because he feels the mom is not present in the children's lives. That's brought up and dropped immediately.
Every other relationship in this movie, except for Emma Roberts' stuff and maybe the mom, is very problematic. Like the younger brother and his wife, apparently don't know each other, and she may be getting molested.
Yeah, that was weird.
Who's getting molested?
The whole wedding scene. So how I read it was
by the father.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah. I don't know if it was supposed to be just like, oh, he's an immigrant, so he doesn't really understand English that well, so he doesn't really know the song that well. Doesn't know what the song is saying.
Right.
But also, he was like all over her on the dance floor, which was still weird.
Yeah, he was grinding on her.
Yeah.
Ooh, I forgot about that. That's a good point, Mark.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Kristen
great.
Chenoweth is a bleak future until Farouk comes along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very that family, Sloane's family, is a very dysfunctional, broken family.
Yeah.
The dad's dead, I guess. They never mention the father.
They never do.
They never do. I think another issue we have is we don't know why they're Sloane and Jackson. He's the Australian dude. We don't know why their lives suck. Like we know Sloane's family is overbearing. Okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, she has a job. It doesn't look like she's wanting for anything, right? She's not, down on her luck necessarily.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like she has any friends though.
Just her sister and the bride to be.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we don't know why. Why does she not have friends?
Yeah, I don't know.
And Jackson, we know nothing. We know nothing about him.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's a pro golfer.
We don't do, and we see him golf once. And not
Right.
even really golf.
And there was something I was so sure was going to come into play was when Jackson blows his finger off at 4th of July and Sloane says, "Oh, I called your mother. Oh, what did she say?" That's the only time I'm going to do an Australian accent. Like, "Oh, she didn't pick up, but I left a message." And like you could see Jackson's face is a little dejected. Like, "Oh, okay, maybe he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother." Nope, never touched on again. It's fine.
Yeah. A lot of things are just like brought up, never come through. Like the fact that Jackson is her brother's golf instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that doesn't play out into anything.
That only comes up for two reasons. The only reason that's mentioned is for two things. One, it's the reason why he's invited to the wedding is not her date.
Right.
And two, it's to show that the wife doesn't know much about him because she goes, "Did you know he golfed?" And the sisters both went, "Yes."
Right.
You know,
And if that had a payoff, that would be something.
exactly.
You could figure out the wedding invitation in other ways. Like they spent almost an entire year together. It's like they got close enough that he would invite him to the wedding. That works.
Well, that's how you should do it, right? Where they go golfing and he becomes really good friends with Jackson, and that's why he invites him to the wedding.
Yeah. But I don't know.
And the one thing to mention, I don't know if I was the only one that picked up on this, but they either they probably just got somebody, but I really think that guy behind her in the grocery store was supposed to be Ryan Gosling.
So that was in the trivia, and I was looking, and I was like, that's a bit of it. That's being generous to this dude, saying because it says in the trivia that when she says that there's a guy behind her that looks like Ryan Gosling. I was like,
I'm saying they
squint.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like the concept for it was, when it was script was written or the thing was being produced, they
It would be
get him
great to
as a
get Ryan
cameo.
Gosling for this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And either he didn't come through that day or they never had a chance at him and they just got like a guy that vaguely looked like him a little bit if you squinted.
Yeah. But I was just like, I was looking at that trivia and then I watched that scene and I was just like, I don't know.
It's hard to see.
I think it's one of those things where it's like playing with your mind a little bit, where they keep mentioning it over and over again in the store, and then somebody walks up behind her, and your mind just plays a trick going, "Is that Ryan Gosling?"
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't get Ryan Gosling for this.
Something like that happened at the wedding scene when they're at the bar. There's like an older black man that walks by, and I was like, "Oh my god, Keith David!"
Yes, I first I thought I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be somebody," because they definitely make sure to have him in the shot long enough.
He goes all the way across screen.
Yep,
and he like looks at both of them
almost at the camera.
Yeah, I thought it was Keith David at first. I was like, "Oh,
I thought it was Carl Weathers." Yeah, that would have been great. He was going to give them advice or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
And it was just some dude.
Yeah, just an extra going to get his drink.
He made sure to turn to the camera so he got more money.
Yeah, I thought again. I'm going to harp on this a little bit, and I apologize, but I was so I feel so cheated out of a pick for a Christmas movie. But this movie should have been, it starts at Christmas, ends at Christmas, which it does, but we don't care about any of the other holidays. It should have been they meet the day after Christmas, and maybe they make a deal with each other. Like, all right, if we don't meet anyone before next Christmas, we're gonna be each other's dates for the holiday. And like, oh, that's a deal, blah blah blah. And then they just keep somehow they're in each other's lives for the whole year, and it's a will they won't they kind of thing. And then it all culminates at Christmas Eve and into Christmas. But that's not the movie they were trying to make, obviously.
Right.
And that's just my feeling cheated out of a movie. But if we were to make a Christmas movie out of this, that's how I would have done it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think you could have cut some of the holidays out. You could have done one of St. Patrick's Day or Cinco de Mayo. You did not need.
You don't need both. Yeah, they're the same thing pretty much.
Essentially, I think St. Patrick's Day was just put on there just to put Emma Roberts in a green wig.
Okay.
Possible,
Yeah,
and because it's
like-
Chicago, right? And like, oh, they run
Turn
the
the river
the
green.
river green, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like, because the only thing that contributes to that scene, besides the brother knows him, there's no that could have happened at Cinco de Mayo. Like, there's no reason for that to be St. Patrick's Day.
Mhm.
You know,
You could have done a montage.
yeah. You could all those minor like even Easter.
Yeah.
Maybe you do New Year's, Valentine's Day, Easter, July 4th. As the things you would spend a little bit of time on, and then just do little clips of the other holidays.
You
But
could have so much more fun with it because then you could get the lesser holidays in there.
yeah, they could
with the
really do
montage.
stupid holidays.
Yeah, like President's Day.
Yeah.
Just like, here's a quick little shot, and then moving on.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that contributed a lot to it. Is that it seemed like they had partially written like scenes based around holidays and didn't really know how to mesh them into a cohesive picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
they're just trying to have a little bit of fun with,
the concept. Yeah.
the concepts of what are we going to put these characters in this holiday. Yeah. I think it worked for the most part, but obviously this isn't any of our favorite genres of romantic comedies, but I think it worked for the most
I have a
part.
question.
Yeah.
If Emma Roberts, if you're hanging out with Emma Roberts and she shits herself, would you still make a move on her the next day?
How much of her shitting on herself was I a witness to? I
Listen,
don't even answer this question. Probably yes. Still.
Okay. Yeah, just drop all the charades.
Pretending.
Yeah.
I was waiting for how long Ant would take to just chime in with yes.
I would also be a yes.
Yeah.
Even after hosing her down, it would just be okay.
You kind of earned it. Not to say that sex is a prize, ladies. We're
right, but you listen.
That,
you put in a lot of hard work there, and
yeah,
that's that's a thing you take to your grave too, right? Like she would say, "Listen, we don't speak of this ever again."
Yeah, absolutely.
And you say, absolutely, yeah.
That's a bond that you have with that one person that you'll share the rest of either of your lives.
And it'll be one of those things where you see each other, you'll lock eyes, and there'll be that quiet understanding. Like, I know what you did. I know you know what I did. And I respect that you keep it quiet.
Yeah.
I know that you washed me down like an elephant at the zoo.
It's like being blood brothers. Eskimo brothers.
It's deeper than that, I'd imagine. It's a very primal thing. And listen, I give this movie, some credit for that scene and I give Emma Roberts credit for it. Like, my aunt was America's sweetheart, and here I am shitting myself on a Netflix holiday movie.
So, Holidate from 2020 was directed by John Whitesell, also directed Big Mama's House 2, Deck the Halls, A Bunch of TV, and one movie we've already covered, Thunderstruck, starring one Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. A returning director. I think this is the only time we've had that.
We've done a few. We've done a few Stuart Gordon movies.
Oh, okay.
And Frank Henenlotter.
Oh, Frank Henenlotter. Yeah, absolutely.
I think the least shocking thing was when the credit produced by McGee popped up.
Wow. I didn't see that. I turned it off immediately.
It stars...
After the really bad Photoshop of them traveling the world.
Yeah. It stars Emma Roberts, Luke Bracey, Kristen Chenoweth, Francis Fisher, Andrew Batchelor, Jessica Capshaw, Manish Dayal, Alex Moffat, Jake Manley, Nicola Peltz, Dan Loria, and Amy Carrero. IMDb score of 6.1 and a Rotten Tomato score of 44%. No budget or box office number. Jessica Capshaw is the former stepdaughter of Steven Spielberg. Her mom's Kate Capshaw from Temple of Doom fame. You guys want to get into the plot?
Let's do it.
Dan, what do you got for us this week?
Want to let you guys know about our friends over at geekvibesnation.com, Tia and Brittany. They have a podcast called The Top 10 with Tia. That's a weekly podcast where Tia and Brittany get together and they run down their top 10 list of the week. If you enjoy top 10 lists, reading them, listening to them, this is the podcast for you. So just go over to geekvibesnation.com, search Top 10 with Tia, and it should pop right up.
Okay, great. And we are going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to messages from friends of the podcast, and we will be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Steve.
And this is Adam.
And we're part of the Hop Nation USA podcast,
Pittsburgh's #3 craft beer podcast.
Join us every Friday for new beer reviews.
We'll talk about the news, history, and homebrewing.
Plus, we'll sit down with the best brewers and industry personalities that'll have us.
So whether you're a casual drinker, a hazy boy hophead,
or even if you're a whale hunting cellar hoarder,
just search Hop Nation USA on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher and join the nation.
Oh, hi, didn't see you there. It's me, George, from the best little horror house in Philly, the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. We've talked about groundbreaking classics like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Alien, but we've also got a lot of great ones coming up, including some very fun guests like Len Kabaczynski of Swamp Zombies and Red Letter Media fame, Caroline Williams, the star of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Chase Williamson from John Dies at the End. So make sure you're subscribed to the best little horror house in Philly, and I'll see you boils and ghouls over there.
And welcome back. Now it's time to get into the plot for Holidate. We open on Sloane, Emma Roberts, smoking a cigarette on the porch of a house decked out for Christmas, before she says fucking holidays and puts the cig out on an ornamental Santa to go inside. She immediately gets accosted by her mother, Frances Fisher, about not calling some guy named Rodney, and for continuing to smoke, which she says is a major turnoff for men. We also meet her sister, who's having a hard time dealing with her kids, as one of them took a shit in the nativity manger. And maybe that's the reason why that she is not present in their lives. And then she also has a younger brother with a girlfriend. Her aunt is also there, played by Kristen Chenoweth, and she's brought along a mall Santa she just met, and she calls him a Holidate, which is some sort of no-strings relationship for the holiday. Meanwhile,
is this like the quickest that we've gotten a say the title of the movie?
It's pretty close, probably. Right?
It took a while for the opening credit to come in.
Yeah, it comes up. Yeah, she says it before the title comes up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, across town, the town being Chicago, Jackson Luke Bracey is stuck spending Christmas with a girl he just met and her very white bread, maybe very religious parents. So while Sloane is stuck at the kids' table and getting pajamas for her sister, Jackson is getting blowjobs and a pair of khakis. Tough Christmas for him, isn't it?
And I like how he was trying to he was trying to reject the woman's advances, and then immediately stops when she starts going down on him. Like, it's pretty accurate. I give them credit for that. That's exactly how far as most people would get, right? Like, oh, I don't think we should. Oh, never mind. Okay, we're doing this.
Yeah. I think at some point she gets close enough to the precious bits that you're just like, you know what? I'm just going to let this happen. She could do other things while down there.
Yeah. I mean, even Ray let that ghost blow him in Ghostbusters. So
that's the first thing I thought of, like, because Ray is kind of like woken up and like, oh, what's this? Oh, okay, never mind. This is great. It's still the most pointless scene in Ghostbusters, but listen, it's a part of the zeitgeist now.
But the girl he's with was expecting a gift as well, even though she said they weren't doing gifts this year. And then absolute whiplash, well, she drops a line, so you could come in my mouth, but can't give me a present. So he offers her $40. She asks for 80, and he storms out at the idea of bringing his new khakis with him.
You know, after complaining about that she's not a prostitute.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like, make it 80.
That was kind of dumb. I don't understand that, but if you're Jackson, it's Jackson, right?
Jackson.
Yeah. Jackson. I think that's probably the time where you swallow your pride. Like, okay, here's 80. I'm out of here. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, swallow your pride. She swallowed your seed. I mean, it's only fair.
Exactly.
I assume.
But at the same time, she did make him wear an ugly sweater. So
that's true.
Yeah, I think she got what she was coming to her.
That girl's like on Critical Role now.
Is she?
Yes, she is.
Wait, the woman who said I let you come in my mouth?
Yeah, she's on this season of Critical Role.
Dear Lord. Do you think they mentioned that?
I don't know.
I'd hope not, but
hey, remember that time you're in that Christmas movie you said come in my mouth?
Right. Is your character gonna be like that on the show? Roll to see if I come in your mouth.
She's also in that new movie The Menu, apparently.
I have no desire to see that.
No.
Even though I do enjoy Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. But Sloane is dealing with her own issues. Her younger brother proposes to his girlfriend right in front of the entire family, making her the only single child. Later, they both wind up at the same clothing store at the mall, waiting in a long line to return their gifts. There's neither a receipt, the store only offers them store credit, so they barter with the nosy girl behind them for $45 and a 2-for-1 pretzel coupon from Annie Ann's.
Worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice, buttery, cholesterol-filled pretzels. Delicious.
I personally go for the cinnamon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Weirdo.
Weirdo. Wait a minute. I bet you if you like looked at a chart of their best sellers, I would say cinnamon is definitely up there.
It's like they've got two moves. They got the butter and then they got the cinnamon. That's it. So yeah, it'll be
I think
one
they've
of
now
two.
introduced a pepperoni.
I have seen that. Oh, and Amy Carrero.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. Wow. Yeah, that is quite the turnaround.
Yeah, and she was on a offshoot of Critical Role right after this movie. So
Alexandria Unlimited.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So after Sloane gets some pretzels, they exchange cynical views of Christmas, talking about their favorite Christmas presents they ever got. We get to see Emma Roberts try and do a Urkel impression while also trying to be a ventriloquist. It's weird.
Probably could have cut that out.
Yeah, because they do it twice too. They make her do it twice.
Yeah, and the ventriloquist dummy shows up at Cinco de Mayo.
Does it? I missed that.
It's on the ceiling fan.
They then run into the mall Santa that Sloane's aunt had as a holidate, and her explanation of what a holidate is intrigues Jackson. And he proposes that they should be each other's holidates for the year of holidays ahead of them. Man, I said holidate a lot in that sentence.
You do a drinking game.
Yeah.
Every time you say holidate, you take a shot.
I refuse to do drinking games that Anthony prescribed for.
Because he wants to kill people. He doesn't want to have fun.
That's right. I make my drinking games like I DM D&D.
Yeah, it's just
Ruthless.
a gauntlet.
He then insults her by saying he's not attracted to her and then gives her his card and tells her to think about his proposition. She goes back to working remotely and she gets a call from her mom. This is before COVID too, so good for her.
Oh, wait, 2020, right?
This movie was shot in 2019, yeah.
Oh, wow. That was a very progressive thinking company.
Yeah. So she goes back to work remotely, and she gets a call from her mom during work to introduce Sloane to her new neighbor, Farouk, a doctor that her mom is trying to set her up with.
And apparently Farouk works at every single hospital in Chicago.
Yep. Are they just go to the same one? Because they go to the same mall every time.
I guess, yeah. But they go to two different hospitals, and he's at both hospitals.
Yeah, I don't know what. Maybe just is there a roaming doctor position?
Well, he makes the reference. They do the thing I say is just give me a line to explain it. And he says, oh, they called me in special to put someone's toe back on. That's the reason he's at the hospital near the lake.
Somebody else blew their toe off with fireworks, I suppose.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Jackson is working with his buddy Neil. He's a golf pro, and Neil's scrolling through a dating app when Jackson gets a call from Sloane. So they agree to have their first holidate for New Year's and go to a club where they spend time people watching and generally having a good time together. But they're not attracted to each other for whatever reason. Jackson's happy. He says that he gets to say things like how great her tits look in her dress. To be fair, they do. And Sloane is happy she can wear dresses that make her tits look great without being shamed. To be fair, they do. After a brief interruption from her aunt and her latest holidate, Sloane changing dresses with a girl in the bathroom that's having a breakdown over the fact that she dropped red wine on her dress. They do the dirty dancing move on the dance floor until the dress rips and Sloane's boobs pop out, and they wind up crashing on the floor.
I think that was kind of unnecessary. The changing of the dresses.
Yeah.
You don't need to have it where she changes the dress for her boobs to pop out.
Yeah. Because they've also pointed out, because it would make more sense if it was her original dress, because like they've made so many comments regarding her dress and how it makes her tits look. So it would make sense. It's like, oh, that pays off by them popping out, you know?
Right. Yeah. This is, I picked it because it looks my boobs look good. And then it's more for show than for functionality, I guess.
Yeah. And someone makes a comment. It was like, oh, it looks like you're falling out of that thing.
Yeah, there you go. Right. And then
I don't care. It makes my tits look great.
Yeah. See, that's how you write a movie.
What are we doing here?
Emma Roberts, whenever you need help writing a good boob joke, we got you.
Right here.
If they called us a movie, has you covered.
Ah, you see, look at that.
So they agreed. After a brief interruption, at midnight, Jackson misses the countdown because he was in the bathroom, and they go home. On the cab ride home, Jackson tries to make plans for Valentine's Day, but Sloane is iffy about it. So fast forward to Valentine's Day, and while wedding planning with her brother's fiance, Sloane's sister and the fiance, Liz, give her shit for being alone on Valentine's Day. But Sloane is looking forward to spending time alone, taking a bath, drinking wine, and watching porn. That is until she goes to the candy store and runs into her ex-boyfriend Luke and his girlfriend Felicity. But as Sloane starts to spiral, Jackson sees the scene through the store window and jumps in to rescue her for the embarrassing scene by pretending to be her boyfriend. Again, he's always at the mall.
He does troll around the mall a lot.
He's probably looking for 16-year-olds.
Well, he's got to take advantage of the accent.
Yeah, and looking like a dime store Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, well, someone wrote, it was like he looks nothing like Chris Hemsworth, but a lot like Liam Hemsworth.
He looks like the poor man's Chris Hemsworth, but also at the same time he looks like the rich man's Liam Hemsworth.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's that's I had written down, like, I guess they couldn't get Liam Hemsworth to shoot here. I think Felicity, right, is the ex-boyfriend's girlfriend at the time.
Correct.
And Luke. Mm-hmm. That storyline also goes nowhere. Like, they show up one other time and she's pregnant.
They get an ending.
But why? What is it?
Because every character in this movie needs an ending, Dan.
The only reason you bring them back is for Sloane to get back together with him just when Jackson is catching feelings for her. Like, right. That would be the only time to do it.
In a romantic comedy, usually that's what would happen, yeah.
Yeah, right, because it's like, because even in the mall, she mentions, or one of them mentioned how the reason why he's dating someone younger is because of lack of commitment. Mm-hmm. So it has the built-in excuse for later when he shows up at, let's say Thanksgiving or whatever. I didn't want to be with her. I realized you were the one, blah, blah, blah. And then Jackson drives by with the pie and like, Luke's there. I guess she went back to him and he drives away sad.
Mm-hmm. They then spend some time in the car eating chocolates and come up with a few more ground rules on the whole Holidate thing, including no sex. Although they've already not had sex yet. So that was already off the table, I thought. They meet for St. Patrick's Day at a bar and run into Sloane's brother and sister. Her brother winds up knowing Jackson as he's his golf instructor, which doesn't really come to play anytime soon. And then at Easter, they go to Sloane's mom's house, who is having a party with the whole family. Sloane's aunt shows up with another guy. This one's name is Jesus, looking a lot like Jesus on Easter, as she's dressed in a leather bunny costume. And her mom invites the neighbor, Dr. Farouk, who seems to be like the perfect guy. In a private moment, Jackson mentions that she should seriously consider going out with Farouk, but she gives some lame excuse for why not. Then we cut to Cinco de Mayo, and this is just getting silly because you could easily skip this holiday.
Yep.
But they get absolutely wrecked, and they talk about each other's sex lives. Sloane's is non-existent, while Jackson's is still thriving. And they wind up blacking
real quick.
out. Yeah.
Is Cinco de Mayo a holiday?
It's sort of, but it's not a holiday that you as a white person need to celebrate.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like that's not really something we should really focus on, and it becomes kind of a focal point of the movie there.
Yes, it's an important scene because it's the first time that they possibly are intimate. Which again, it would make more sense if they knew fully that they fucked that night.
Yeah,
and that's where that's the like, oh, you know what, this is kind of nice,
right? But neither of them wants to admit it.
Yeah. And then you spend that second act or second half of this movie doing that.
Yeah.
Every new holiday, like, he blows his hand off, right?
Right.
Now, and then he shows that he's starting to get feelings for her, right? Then the next one, the next one the next one that she is like, he meets up with an old girlfriend or something, the girl from the first scene, and she gets jealous for seeing him talking to her and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I was going to say you could have that whole July 4th scene being her talking to the sisters and all that about like not having feelings for him, and then he blows the finger off, and then she reacts like a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could have that happen there, and then he gets feelings, and then she pushes away because, as they explain later, that's what she does. And then you can do the ex-boyfriends thing. Like, there's so much they could have put in between that Cinco de Mayo and Thanksgiving scene and the fight in the grocery store that could have led more to that scene and then the end than they did. They just meandered for a bit until Halloween, essentially.
Yeah. Instead, we get 5 minutes of finger jokes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have her wrapped around your finger. I can't quite put my finger on it. Hilarious.
Yeah. They wind up blacking out. They will wake up in the morning unsure what happened the night before. All they know is Sloane is wearing Jackson's boxers. They awkwardly convince themselves they didn't have sex the night before, and Sloane goes to make coffee. We then fast forward to Mother's Day. Jackson joins her for lunch with her mother, in which her mother is struggling with the idea of the Holidate thing because she feels like Sloane is wasting her time when she could be finding a husband. So then Jackson and Sloane...
She tells her that she's going to get cancer.
That's true too, yes.
It's a little wrong to say to your daughter.
I mean, our family sucks. You're going to get cancer.
Right.
Like, not like you should tell family medical history. It's like, hey, you should be aware of this, but not in the way that she's doing it.
Right.
Not in the way you need to find a husband that's going to take care of you while you go through chemo. Oh, by the way, cancer runs in our family.
Right. How is it that The Room handled it better than this? It's true. I have cancer.
I got the test results today. I definitely have breast cancer.
Yeah. How is it that they handle that better than this? That's terrible.
So then Jackson and Sloane say they're going to go fuck in the bathroom at the restaurant and then leave. Then we cut to the 4th of July, and the entire family heads to a lake for the weekend. And as everyone is drunk and stoned, and Sloane pressures her her brother's fiance to say fuck, Jackson blows off his finger, setting off fireworks. So Sloane, a little stoned and not a particularly good driver, has to be the one to take him to the hospital. And despite her driving, they do actually make it there in one piece. So they celebrate by toking up in the emergency room. And it winds up being Farouk, who was the attendee at the ER that day. So he's going to sew that finger back on. And Sloane flirts with Farouk in like a super stoned way. And Jackson starts to get a little jealous. He gets operated.
Now, is the implication later on that Farouk did a bad job with the thing on purpose or something?
No, I think he's just being jealous, and I think he's just being like, nah, he's a terrible doctor. Yeah, because he saw her flirting with him, and he knows that Farouk is basically a catch.
Yeah.
So he's just like, trying to knock him down a peg. Oh, he didn't do that good of a job. I can't flip the bird.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
I think if it were gonna be the joke would have been maybe he sewed the finger on backwards. That would be like, oh, he didn't even do it right, and it's the finger's facing him instead of the normal way.
Like Dr. Nick Riviera.
Yeah, with Mr. McCraig.
An arm for a leg for an arm and an arm for a
arm
leg.
For a leg.
There we go.
Favorite patient. Yeah, there you go. Dr. Nick Riviera. I could hear the way he says it in my head. It's great.
He gets operated on, and she takes him home and takes care of him, and they start to show a little spark between the two of them. So what better way to fan that spark than a side character getting into one of our main characters' heads, with Sloane's brother's wedding coming up, which lands on Labor Day? I wasn't sure which holiday this was.
Yeah, it's Labor Day.
The wedding was on Labor Day. Yeah.
Jackson's coworker Neil tells him that the wedding trumps the holiday, and he shouldn't be Sloane's date because it oversteps the Holidate rules. So they FaceTime each other and have an awkward back and forth, and Jackson says that they should bring separate dates to the wedding. So they both begrudgingly agree, and we cut to the wedding, and Sloane is there with Farouk, while Jackson winds up taking Sloane's Aunt Susan, Kristen Chenoweth. But Sloane and Jackson have no interest in their respective dates other than to try and make each other jealous, and they eventually start arguing over their respective dates. And not Keith David comes into screen that I thought was going to be awesome, but it wasn't. And while they both barge into the father-daughter dance because Liz's dad doesn't understand English too well and picked Boys to Men's I'll Make Love to You, or maybe it's a sexual assault joke, which is also confusing.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past this movie, though.
Yeah, Farouk and Aunt Susan wind up getting really close on the dance floor to the point where she hurts herself and the fireman carries her out of the wedding. And then Sloane and Jackson agree to make plans for Halloween. So they cut to Halloween, and they go to throw a party They go to a party thrown by her brother and Liz, and they're dressed as pirates. And everyone is there. Her brother, Liz, her sister, Abby, not Abby's husband though, Jackson's friend Neil dressed as Black Panther. Not Black Panther, but a Black Panther. And for some reason, her brother invited Luke and Felicity. Felicity now pregnant and ready to pop, although their math is wrong.
Yeah, because she says Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
It's a month short.
Yeah.
She counts all of February. She counts February as one.
It would be March.
April, May, June, July, August.
We noticed that too. Like, oh no, they got it wrong. But for the sake of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Because they met on Valentine's Day.
Right. But they could have said one more month.
Right. Yeah, one more month. Yeah.
You gotta say, I'm doing 2 days.
And why are you at a party?
Right. You at a party when you can literally pop at any moment.
Right. Well, because they're young, they're dumb.
Yeah.
Just living life, man. Fuck that baby.
Yep. So Sloane starts to have a breakdown, so her sister gives her what she thinks is an antacid, and Jackson goes to take her home. After they leave, we find out that antacid is actually a laxative. So while they're on the way back to the apartment, Sloane starts to have severe stomach cramps. So she struggles to go up the stairs as she tries to untie her corset, as her stomach starts gurgling. And by all accounts, she doesn't make it, as off-screen, she shits herself. The highlight of the movie, according to Dan.
Oh, I laughed so hard.
It is unexpected in this movie.
It was. And, I give it credit for that. It definitely took some big swings.
It's not every romantic comedy that is willing to give their female lead explosive diarrhea.
But the Hallmark movies are missing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like the Farrelly brothers and this movie.
Well, it was at Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids, yeah.
Right?
That's what I was thinking of when this was happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's the one who shits herself? Maya Rudolph, right?
Maya Rudolph shits in the street.
In the middle of the street, which is even better. Yeah, and God bless Emma Roberts, because she doesn't strike me as the person who would go for this. Right? She seems very serious.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she took it out on Evan Peters afterwards. I don't know.
Well, history would say yes.
How was filming today, honey? Shut up, whack. I had to shit myself. Oh, sorry. Don't hurt me.
He just uses it to channel. He channels it for his crazy performance.
100%. He imagines everyone's Emma Roberts. There's Emma Roberts. There's Emma Roberts.
Domestic abuse isn't a joke, everybody, by the way.
Right. I was going to say it.
But it's true. Emma Roberts beat up Evan Peters. It's true.
Yeah.
So he helps her clean up in the tub.
It's so sad.
Like an elephant in the zoo, as we've said. And they sleep in the same bed together. But they don't fuck until the morning, and then they fuck.
There's no way you could make me sleep in the same bed.
Maybe they change sheets.
Well, because if that's happening now, it's probably going to happen again. So I don't want to be there if it happens again.
Definitely no anal that night.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, just come. I'll be in the living room. Come get me if you need me.
And
you need me to hose you down again.
Yeah, I feel like it's not over, right?
It can't be.
Yeah.
But she was popping those things like Tic Tacs.
Like, I've never needed laxatives, luckily. But yeah, it seems like it would not be over that quickly.
It's going to flush you out completely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's, like Mark said at the beginning, she's on the can all night.
In the morning, they act really awkward after they have sex, to the point where they basically both usher him out without either of them even wanting him to leave. Before he heads out, her sister Abby comes in, stressed out because she wound up kissing Neil the night before. So Jackson awkwardly leaves, and we flash forward to Thanksgiving. Neil gives Jackson advice to show up to Thanksgiving as if nothing happened, and he does. And amidst Sloane's mom burning the turkey and Aunt Susan bringing the dad from the Wonder Years to dinner, Sloane and Jackson go to the grocery store to get food that the mom forgot and also food that she ruined. At the grocery store, they get into a tiff about how the after sex went, and Jackson finally confesses that he's in love with Sloane. She's not having it, and he storms off, telling her that she doesn't want herself to be happy. And then they argue about Ryan Gosling.
Do you think Ryan Gosling saw this movie?
Like, hey, that's me.
Right. Or it was
my name.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it goes through your mind, like, man, like I get used a decent amount in these like rom-coms. Like, oh, what would you do if Ryan Gosling came by? Or like, oh, he's no Ryan Gosling. Like, it probably inflates your ego, I'd imagine, right? Like, the writers keep picking me for their imaginary scenario.
Yeah, do you think that he uses it as like foreplay? He's like, Ava, let's try and make another baby.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like she's like asleep, and he's just sitting in bed watching Netflix, and he hears his name, instantly erect.
Right. Oh, it's the Ryan Gosling effect. You can't help it. I don't know how I'd feel like if I were watching a movie and my name were brought up for that purpose. Like, oh, if Dan Aquino walked in, you'd do anything for him. Like, hell yeah, you would. That's right, Emma Roberts.
You start looking up Emma Roberts on Instagram. Like,
how do I reach Emma Roberts?
Slide into those DMs.
It was good enough to be used in the movie. Why not give me a shot here? What do I got to lose? If I'm not married, I am married, so I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I'm not the sister here.
So she goes back home to her mom's house, and an argument breaks out when she shows up without Jackson. She gets into a fight with her sister and tells everyone her sister kissed someone other than her husband. Her mom starts yelling, and then Wonder Year's dad winds up having a heart attack. So Sloane and Aunt Susan go to the hospital, and Aunt Susan laments all the times she ruined good things with men that loved her. And they see Farouk, who is upset that Susan didn't call him, but Sloane convinces Aunt Susan to go talk with him, and they make out basically right there in the waiting room, and they make up.
I kept thinking, did they ever bring Wally back after that? Because she's basically leaving Wally for Farouk.
Yeah. Only in the end credits.
Right.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Wally. Like, I guess there goes his ride home.
How far did you make it into the photos, Dan?
I saw when, Sloane and Jackson are standing awkwardly next to a fake kangaroo.
I was pretty sure you didn't get that far. He shows up with the mom in those photo montages.
Okay.
Wally.
Oh, so he gets together with the mother?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have French bulldogs together.
Oh, adorable.
And in this scene, I don't know if you'd have to go back and watch it, but I swear it's in the act of reusing actors. I think the old couple that sees them trying to rip her pants off or the corset off in the elevator are in the hospital waiting room.
Oh, entirely possible.
I think they used the same older couple.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know if it's cheap. They probably got paid the same as other people would do.
Well, because he had the heart attack seeing that such depravity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all coming full circle.
He dropped his monocle.
Right.
And she fainted.
She did, yeah. My heavens, and then just fell into his arms.
So Sloane tries to go to Jackson's apartment to apologize, but she can't work up the nerve. So then around Christmas, she goes to the mall with her sister, her niece, and Liz. And while they're going up the escalator, Jackson comes down the escalator and they exchange glances but never say anything. Then all the women convince Sloane that it's a sign that she could go after him. So she does and winds up jumping on a stage where a choir is performing. And with an assist from said choir and a microphone, she manages to have a heartfelt confession of love for Jackson right there in the middle of the mall for all the patrons and Santa to see. And while he pretends to reject her at first, he takes her back and then they embrace and kiss. And then we have...
That was so dumb. Like, why he pretends to reject her? What's the point of that?
The cynic in me wanted the rejection to happen and that be the end of the movie.
Well, Jen thought, like, what if he was going to raise his finger that was detached to give her the bird and walk away? And then I was like, they would never do that. He goes, nah, and walks away. I was like, oh shit, he's leaving. But then they didn't have the balls to go all the way.
No. And yeah, so then we have a photo montage of where everybody winds up. Sloane and Jackson go to Australia. Neil winds up with the cum in the mouth girl. The mom winds up with Wonder Year's dad. The sister and her husband, they go on like a second honeymoon of sorts. And I don't know what happens with the brother.
They get the tattoos, and he gets her name, but she only gets like the first two letters of his name. So it just says Yo in the heart.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the end of Holidate.
Yeah. How much do you think he knew what those photos were going to look like in the, with the, really bad Australia Photoshop? Like, did they tell him when you have your arm around something to it, it's going to be a kangaroo? Like,
no, probably not.
Yeah.
Just act funny, make silly faces, and then we'll put it in post.
Yeah. Like, I didn't mind it, but
I was not a fan.
I'm sorry. Maybe
That's
next
okay.
year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year they'll get a good pick.
Yeah, next time you got to let me know. You withheld information.
I felt it was close enough to Christmas to not be like, hey, yo, by the way.
Pick another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't want to rock the boat. Don't want to rock the boat.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't hate this movie. We've watched Christmas movies that I disliked more. That's basically it. We've watched romantic comedies that I've disliked more. So yeah, I don't know.
None of those movies had the main character shitting themselves, so
That is true.
Step your game up, rom-coms.
All right. That's it for Holidate, and we're going to take a quick break. We got a new segment coming up after the break, but we are going to listen to some ads so we can pay those bills, and we will be back in a second. And welcome back. Now it's time to get into this week's final segment. I don't know what we're calling it. I still should figure out what we're going to say for this. But anyway,
the Christmas draft.
The Christmas draft. That is what this week's thing is. This week's thing is a fantasy draft of sorts. We are going to fantasy draft us some Christmas songs. We're basically going to create some playlists, if you will. Spotify Wrapped just came out, so that's timely. And yeah, we're going to pick it. So we're going to pick, each of us are going to go kind of snake order, and we're going to pick our Christmas playlists. So if you've never played fantasy football before, basically, if someone picks your pick, you got to pick another one. Them's just the breaks.
Yep.
So we're going to spin a wheel to figure out our draft order, and then we each are going to pick 5. So 5 rounds. So let's spin that wheel to find out who gets to go first. Who gets their pick? All right, the spinny wheel is spinning, and first pick is going to be Mark. Woo,
Mark runs up to the microphone and goes, "All I want for Christmas is you, Mariah Carey."
All right.
Is that your number one pick?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's first figure out who's going to go next, but we'll put that down, and we'll spin the wheel. Mere Dan, who's getting it? Sorry, Dan, it's me.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, this year it's a deep class, so I feel like I could get a good pick in regardless.
Okay, so Mark has already said that his first pick is "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey. You know what? You could have that one because I didn't have it in anywhere in my 5.
Neither did I.
Maybe you could have gotten that in the second round. But, solid first round pick. Not going to lie. To me, it's a little bit, it's kind of like picking a 30-year-old running back in the first round. It's like, sure. It's got how much tread is left in those tires is kind of how I feel about it,
Yeah.
Best years are behind them, right?
Yeah. I feel like we're inundated by this at this point.
I'm sorry I didn't go with the hipster Christmas song pick for first overall.
Oh, I didn't go hipster Christmas, but I went with the timeless pick. Pick that maybe a little bit, older than what we were talking about, but, it's a classic for a reason. And that is The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole.
Yeah, can't argue that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's called The Christmas Song for a reason, It's like, it's the Christmas song. Everyone else is just a pretender.
At least you chose the right singer.
Yep. Of course. Yep. So, gotta go with a classic right there. Dan, you got 2 picks in a row.
All right. Oh boy. All right. So I'm going to lead off strong here because I'm getting back-to-back picks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going "Someday at Christmas" as my number 1 by Stevie Wonder because that's a little bit more of a serious song. It's comes out after the Vietnam War. It's kind of just hoping for peace on earth. Really, that's a strong message. That's what you want leading your young team.
Okay.
It's strong message.
Can I be honest with you?
Sure.
No idea what that song is.
Really? "Someday at Christmas"? I'm not going to sing it.
No, I hope you don't. But I'll have to listen to it. Probably could have gotten that in the second. Probably could have gotten that in the third round.
I had it as my second pick, but I figured both of my number 1 and my number 2. I could have sworn my number 2 would have been more well known. It was between that and "That's What Christmas Means to Me" from Stevie Wonder, which is more of
that one I know more.
Yeah, that's more of a upbeat jingle. It's a good one, but
you're bringing us all down on the first one, huh?
Listen, again, it's not all holly jolly. There shit goes down in the world, and sometimes you need Stevie Wonder to get you through it.
For anyone listening at home, Dan has never won our fantasy football league.
Yeah, so that it shows. and this year's not looking any better. But I like that song a lot. It's definitely a deeper meaning for Christmas. But I'm gonna pick it back up. This is more in line with the season and the upbeat feel. But it's out of the left field, and I like that. I feel like this song can take me places. Christmas is the Time to Say I Love You by Billy Squier.
Ooh, good song.
And you never hear it. I fucking love it.
Yeah. It's one of those lost ones, like, because now no one listens to the radio anymore. So it's like, when it comes to like Spotify playlists, you either get like classics or you get modern. It's that weird time in between that you don't really get.
Right, you're gonna get like Kelly Clarkson or like NSYNC is gonna come on. You're not gonna get Billy Squier
or that goddamn Michael Bublé.
Mm-hmm.
He's recorded every goddamn Christmas song.
I'm surprised he hasn't recorded that.
Yeah, that would. I'd give respect to Michael Bublé if he did Christmas is the Time to Say I Love You.
I'd listen to it. I'd like to check it out.
Yeah,
but
all right.
Yeah, those are my first two picks.
Solid, interesting picks. I'm staying classic. I'm going classics here, and I'm going White Christmas by Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
All right.
Just heavy hitters. I'm bringing out.
Yeah, coming out swinging.
You need to be strong to last as long as these songs have. So they're doing something right.
Yeah, they're not problematic.
70, 80 years of just yeah. I would say that about either, probably Nat King Cole or Bing.
Yeah, that's the key, right? They're not problematic.
Yeah. Yeah. Song so good they named the movie after it. All right, Mark.
I guess. Well, yes, you're true. I knew the trivia about it and forgot it for a second. Holiday Inn was first. Yes, it was.
Don't bring your TCM watching in here, Ben. Act like you know something.
Better come correct.
Better watch your mouth when you're talking to me.
Yeah, I'll take I got two in a row here. Yeah. So give me one that I'm a little fond of too. I enjoy Here Comes Santa Claus by Elvis Presley.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's my favorite version of that song.
Yeah, I really like that song. It's like one of those songs that comes on the radio that I start singing, and then I will keep singing throughout the rest of the day. Just the opening to the song. I think it's the opening to the song where he just opens with "Here Comes Santa Claus."
Yeah,
and trying to do it in a really deep voice, just to amuse just myself.
Is that the song that's playing while Eddie's draining his shitter?
That's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the other one. I like this one better.
With the trumpets.
All right. And I'll take kind of maybe a strange one here, but it comes in the same vein as Here Comes Santa Claus. I'll take Mele Kalikimaka.
Oh,
ooh, that's a Bing Crosby one.
Yep. Bing Crosby.
A Bing Crosby joint.
Yep, another song that if I hear it on the radio once, I will sing the chorus for the rest of the day in my head.
Okay. Going Hawaiian on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Samoan's always a good pick.
Yeah. Speaking of Christmas Vacation, that plays.
Yes, it does. For me, my third pick, I'm going with a pick that is almost as much about the song as it is about the preamble. Talking about saxophones and the crowd, whether or not they're going to be good this year. I'm going with Santa Claus Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, that's always a big one.
Gotta love it. I love the part.
It's the only Springsteen song I like.
Oh man. Well, I mean, no accounting for taste, obviously.
I'm not a Springsteen fan. I'm sorry.
So you're the Bon Jovi fan in New Jersey.
I also hate Bon Jovi. I would rather listen to Springsteen than Bon Jovi.
Well, at least you say that. But I love the part where he just asked the crowd, "You guys have been good out there this year." That's not many. You guys are in trouble.
That's not many.
Love it. Perfect song. And that to me, that's the best version of that one.
Yeah, definitely. He also, I think he also has the best version of "Merry Christmas, Baby."
That's a pretty good one too.
I like that one.
Yeah. All right, Dan. What's your third pick?
All right.
You're in
So
for
I got a little worried when Aunt said White Christmas, but I'm going with what I believe to be the superior version of White Christmas by the Drifters. That's the one from the first. It's probably best known from the first Home Alone.
Okay.
So I'm going with that one because it's like it's just oozing swag with that. I love it. It's a very unique take on White Christmas.
Second's almost first.
Seconds on all right. Hey, listen, we got to put it. We'll see how it goes when we face in a week, whenever we face each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then for my next pick, I'm going with I wouldn't even know how to describe this one. It's just fun. It's a catchy song. Stepping Into Christmas by Elton John.
Ooh, bad pick. Oof.
Bad pick.
Bad.
Oh, I don't
Worst
know,
pick
man.
of the draft.
Oh, how could you say that about Elton John? How dare you, sir?
Worst pick in the draft.
Well, it's a breakout year for him, man. He's gonna drop 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns on you.
Mark, what do you think about that song?
No, it was nowhere even near my list.
Well, it's okay to be wrong. It's quite all right.
Oh man, oof! The crowd goes silent. The Jets fans are booing.
The Jet fan.
All right.
There's the one guy in the crowd. What the fuck?
Oh man. All right. Next picks for me. I'm going with something a little bit different. Synonymous with a Christmas special. I'm going with "Christmas Time Is Here" by the Vince Guaraldi Trio.
There you go.
Okay.
I was just looking up to see the name of that. The full name of the band. I was just going to say the song from Peanuts.
Obviously, yes, from Charlie Brown Christmas. It's a classic, and can't really. What else are you gonna say? I got some jazz in there. All right, Mark, take it home.
So
fourth and fifth for you.
So, my second to last pick is I picked a cover of a version that the cover may be more well known as some of these Christmas songs are, but it's a personal favorite of mine. I enjoy "Jingle Bell Rock" by Brenda Lee.
I don't think I'm
Jingle
familiar
Rock.
with that one.
Have you heard "Jingle Bell Rock"?
Well, I know Jingle Bell Rock, yeah, but I don't know.
It's basically the same song, but Brenda Lee said, and I enjoy Brenda Lee.
I'd have to listen to it.
And then I'm just gonna pick a funny one outside it, out of the box and all. I will take "Christmas Time in Hollis, Queens" or "Christmas Time in Hollis" by Run DMC.
Run DMC, yeah, there you go.
Yep, just heard that song for the first time. My sister had that the CD that it comes on that I believe also has another song that would be an honorable mention.
Is that the Red album?
Yeah, the Red album.
The Very Special Christmas.
Yeah, heard it for the first time on there, and then I make it a part of my Christmas playlist every year. That's about it on that. I don't.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, for me, I got a couple, and I'm trying to decide which one. I'm going to go with one because I kind of already picked one from this one, and I want something a little bit more modern. I'm going to go with something that is also on that album. I'm going to go with "Christmas, parentheses, Baby, Please Come Home" from U2.
That's a good version.
Yeah.
That Red album played every Christmas in my childhood, so I probably know that album front and back. Yeah. Probably could tell you, if you play a song, I'll tell you what song came on after.
Is Madonna's version of Santa Baby on that one?
I believe is on there. Yes.
Okay, I like that.
And there's
version.
one other famous song from that.
There's a bunch of famous songs, right?
Well, no, but I think one that's played a lot on the radio.
No, Bob Seger's got a good little drummer boy on that. I think Sting's got the Angel Gabriel. It's a solid album.
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of is "Run Rudolph Run."
Okay,
that's Chuck Berry, right?
Brian Adams.
Oh, Brian. Okay.
All right. What were you gonna say, Mark?
I was gonna say I had a I was this year old moment like 4 to 5 years ago when I realized that Brian Adams song was a cover of Chuck Berry. Just because the opening riff to that song, as soon as I remember, my friend was like, "Yeah, it's a cover, right?" I'm like, "No." And then he played the opening riff. I was like, "Okay, that's very much a Chuck Berry guitar riff. That is not a Brian Adams." They just completely sampled the guitar.
Mm-hmm. I actually have that album. on vinyl. All
I
right,
would definitely
Dan.
buy it if I could find it.
Dan, take us home. What's your last pick,
All
Mr.
right.
Irrelevant?
Now I'm a little. I don't know which one I want to take here. Between
What are your two between?
Well, one is another Vince Guaraldi trio, and the other one is a song we just mentioned, is "Run Rudolph Run." But I'm going with Linus and Lucy. I really like Linus and Lucy. It's probably one of the more popular ones that I have on my list here.
Before you started saying that, the crowd started chanting in the background, Dan, Christmas shoes. Christmas shoes.
Yeah. Christmas shoes is probably one of my favorite Patton Oswalt bits. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
Yes.
But so I listen to that bit every year around Christmas time when I'm wrapping presents. I'll put on Christmas shoes by Patton Oswalt. And if you haven't heard that bit, I highly recommend you do. It's a good one.
Yeah, make sure you have heard the song, which you probably have.
I don't even think you need to hear the song because he kind of goes through it. There's one part where he says the way the guy sings the song is just to let you know, like, hey ladies, just letting you know, even though I'm in a Christian band, I will absolutely lay the fucking pipe. So it's such a good line.
The one I was thinking of was Bing Crosby and David Bowie.
Oh yeah,
Little Drummer Boy / Peace on Earth.
And then Bing Crosby died like a week after that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. I really like Linus and Lucy. It's a good one. I always enjoy hearing that on the radio. It's I'll look up people on YouTube playing it. It's a good song.
I'm partially glad that none of us chose Last Christmas.
Oh yeah, like it's not
a bad song, but it's like
it's been covered like 1,000 times.
They made a movie about it.
Yeah,
they made a very bad Emilia Clarke movie about it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that movie too.
And on the list of songs that I was looking up to do the research for this, that was number 2 in the top 100. I think according to Rolling Stone, that's the number 2.
Well, it's probably the second most played song, because I would imagine that and my first overall pick are probably the ones played the most on the radio.
The Mariah Carey song was number 1.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
I like that song, but yeah, I hear it.
Yeah,
even before Christmas starts.
Yeah, I'm over it. I've moved on with my life. But I was looking at A Very Special Christmas, and this album just slaps. Santa Claus Coming Town by the Pointer Sisters slaps. Winter Wonderland by the Eurythmics.
Oh, that's
slaps.
The best version.
Yeah. Do You Hear What I Hear by Whitney Houston?
Great.
Excellent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas Baby by Bruce Springsteen.
Great.
Pretty good. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by the Pretenders. That's good.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah. That's not bad. Chrissy Hines got a good voice.
Sure.
I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus by John Mellencamp. Okay.
Yeah.
No Jackson 5.
I was like, probably the least problematic version of that song.
Yeah.
The Jackson 5 one's the best.
Yeah. Gabriel's Message by Sting. Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC.
Good.
Christmas Baby Please Come Home by U2. Santa Baby by Madonna. Heavy hitters. Little Drummer Boy by Bob Seger. Run Rudolph Run, Bryan Adams. Backdoor Santa by Bon Jovi. Coventry Carol, Alison Moyet. And Silent Night by Stevie Nicks. I don't really know what that Coventry Carol is. I probably heard it, but
you must have if it I play it all every Christmas.
Yeah, because I've heard Silent Night by Stevie Nicks 1,000 times in my life.
Yeah,
is that the one that never ends? Like it just like she keeps saying Silent Night at the end like 100 times.
Silent Night. Yeah.
Yeah, she just keeps going with it.
Well, it was a
Yeah. Like, oh my God, please end.
Yeah, and if you give me a choice of Santa Baby, I'll take the Aretha Kitt version. Catwoman herself. Eartha Kitt.
Was hers the original?
I'd assume so. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be pretty close. If not, it's one of those like obscure covers where some band no one knows released it like 2 years before.
You know what I almost had on my list? I almost had the Rockettes. Not the what is it?
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
I almost had that, but
Sarajevo.
Christmas Sarajevo. But that's not even their best song, honestly. Was it a Russian Christmas? That's probably better. But I almost had Christmas wrapping on here, but that's another song that I've kind of grown out of by the waitresses, and it's a good song, but
I like that song. Yeah,
it's I don't like it as much as I used to.
Yeah. Father Christmas by the Kinks is a good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, no Dominic the Donkey or
that's
I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas.
Oof. That's offensive. Well, an Italian guy sang it, so right. I don't know the name of the guy who sang Dominic the Donkey, but I think he's Italian, right?
I don't know. Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues is a good song. But yeah, no, this is pretty good. We got some pretty good teams here, even with Step Into Christmas on this.
You know, listen, I will not tolerate Step Into Christmas slander on this podcast, all right? Elton John is a fucking legend.
We got into this without talking about the song about witchcraft.
Oh, God. Dude, if anyone had put that on their list, the automatic expulsion.
What's the Paul McCartney song? That is a Paul McCartney song, right?
Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it was not to do with what you're saying about it. Sounds like people got caught doing witchcraft. I was like, that's just a terrible song in general. There's the Beatles didn't do very well with Christmas songs. Yeah, I mean, Christmas War is over.
Yoko kills that.
It's just so self-indulgent too, right?
Well, because it was done they did it in their bedroom, right? Wasn't that the thing? Like they recorded it in their bedroom from their bed. Like, all right, like, you know, good message and all, but yeah, I could do without it.
And then Do They Know It's Christmas is hilariously bad.
Oh God, awful. And that gets a lot of radio play.
Oh yeah, the whole message of is it? Can you believe these people in Africa don't celebrate Christmas?
They don't know about it. Why don't they know about Christmas? The clanging chimes of doom. That's what you want in your Christmas song. The Christmas bells that ring, they're clanging chimes of doom. No one saw them like, God damn, that's dark.
Well, tonight, thank God it's them instead of you.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's
White Savior, the song.
It's essentially what it is. Yeah, I'd rather you have Last Christmas on your list than that.
I agree. But I think that's going to wrap us up this week.
Yeah,
we're kicking off 25 Days of Christmas with Holidate, even though it's only like bookended by Christmas, but it's fine. It's fine.
It's passable.
Yeah, we'll deal with it. So, join us next week. We'll have another Christmas movie for you. And check us out on the socials, wherever if you're listening to us, you know where to find us. But basically, we're on Instagram and Twitter, TikTamPod. I believe we're now on, what's the one? Hive Social, which is kind of wonky. And I don't know if I want to put the effort to build an audience again, but we're there. Check us out there.
Force Anthony to build up the account there.
Look, the Twitter needs a lifeboat, so it's Hive Social. So just in case.
Yeah, listen, you got to be prepared.
Yeah, some people have guns in their house. I have Hive Social.
Hive Social.
That's how I prepare myself. So check us out. If you're listening to this, you know where to find us. But we will be back next week, and that's it for this week. So the director of Holidate was or is John Whitesell. So for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony Donicchio telling John Whitesell, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you? Thanks for listening to They Called Us a Movie. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at TicTamPod. That's TCTAM Pod. You can also check us out on TikTok at They Called Us a Movie.